Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorta.
Our guest today is the bare-knuckle boxing champion of the world. He is one of only 3 men to hold the BKB belt. Jake Kilrain and John L. Sullivan, you may have heard of John L. Sullivan, are the other 2. He has a BKB record of, get this, 72 wins, no losses, and 72 knockouts. That just makes me nervous saying it out loud. On February 17th, at the Chase Center in Wilmington, Delaware, he will face Roy Jones Jr. I'm pleased to welcome Bobby, the Celtic Warrior Gunn. Bobby, welcome to Ringside Reporter.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you for having me on. It's an honor to come on this prestigious boxer show. It really is. You guys are class. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. So when did you – this is what I got to know, man, because I got to touch on it because it's such a big part of who you are, your career in combat sports. When did you first start bare-knuckle boxing?
Well, you know, as far as like first, I would say I probably should have over 100 fights. I mean, you can't add them all up. But I mean, I would say a wee boy, you know, having an actual fight, good to fight, a 13-year-old, a scrap, 14-year-old, going hard at it. And then I had a great, you know, I had fought amateur all my life, boxing, and grew up with all my family fighting. All my cousins were fighters and grew up into it. My grandfather and my father training me hard and pushing me hard. And I turned pro when I was 16 years old. And when I was about 21, 22 years old, I started getting, after I got married, and I'd go and have an odd bare-knuckle fight here and there, and it would add up. But I mean, you understand, I'm 23 years married. So people kind of forget, you know, they you don't understand, like, it's a lot of fights I have, but it really isn't when you add it up the way I'm doing it. And I beat everybody because I had a good professional background, an amateur background, and a lot of guys I fought were tough guys, but they were never, I mean, a lot of them were pro fighters, come and make a few bucks in the underground circuit and this and that. But, you know, for me, if I don't beat them, it doesn't add up, does it? Because I fought the best fighters in the world. You understand, in boxing too, the top echelon elite. And I had titles, I won a title, and I should have a great background. Unless I fight a bare-knuckle fight, let's say me and Roy Jones, if we were fighting bare-knuckle, to me, that would be an ultimate bare-knuckle fight. Until I fight somebody at top echelon level, it really ain't fair for me to really brag about these wins because they're just, you know, they were kind of easily done for me because I was good with my hands. You know what I'm saying? I can fight a lot of tough, like, just because you're tough and you're a street fighter, that don't mean you're good with your hands. Right. And in bare-knuckle boxing, the rules is a stand-up boxing. It ain't grapple and wrestle and MMA. It ain't a dirty fight. We call it fair and square. Rough and tumble means anything can go, Eric. You understand? So we done a fair and square, toe to the line. And I had a good run at it, man. I had a lot of good fights, and I'm very memorable. But I kept myself sharp. I always keep myself in shape.
So what actually, I mean, okay, so you said you turned pro at 16. What actually got you into, like, the bare-knuckle thing? I mean, because, you know, like I said, with amateur boxing and everything like that, I mean, how does one actually go about getting into this, you know? I mean...
Well, to be honest with you, I was already known as a vicious street fighter before I married my wife. I never lost a fight, you know, rough and tumble. You know, I take you to the ground. I'll be honest with you, I've been in fights, you know, no big deal. Bite a man's ear off his head, bite his nose off, but all I got to do, they done it to me. I've been in street fights like that. That's rough and tumble. And anything goes. But I had a vicious reputation for being a hardcore street fighter. Mm-hmm. And that's always followed me. But how I got in bare knuckle, you know, it's just, you know, we get into it, and it's called the underground circuit. I can't say much about it because but it's a circuit that runs from New York to California, and you get some good fighters and hard, tough guys, and top guys come in and, you know, they put the money down and you put the money down, you match it, winner takes all. And there are a lot of bets on the side. And it's funny, Eric, because you're going to see politicians, judges, police officers, gang members, all in one building, and they're all getting along watching a fight. And the best part about it is they're not supposed to be there in the first place, but they're all there. It's all there. It's quite there's nothing like it. Like it's an amazing environment. The closest thing I can tell you to it is like the movie Hard Times with Charles Bronson or the movie Lionheart with Van Damme. You know, that was more, fictional Van Damme's movie, but that's kind of like what it's like. Them fights are organized like that and put together like that. Yes.
I love that movie, Hard Times, man. That was such a good movie, man.
He was good, man. Yeah, it was a good movie.
That was great, man. All right, so, yeah, because, so I see a lot of these fights, and I see it looks like they take place in warehouses, and I know, like, when you watch, like, Kimbo Slice's fights or whatever, his old, street fights and everything, they were in, like, alleys and backyards. One looked like it was in the back of a restaurant. How does this, like, now as far as, let me ask you this, like, how does this actually get added to your record? I mean, like, Scott Burt, who's the president of the Bare Knuckle Hall of Fame, and I'm assuming that does he collect the records or, because
well, it's funny you say that, like, I got members on my team, like Big Joe Mack, who I've been with for over 25 years, maybe 26, up to 27 years, and he's been to over 50 of my fights, and the president, Dave Philbin, these guys added up. To be honest with you, my pal, I'm just being honest with you. That's kind of being modest, saying 72 and 0. I think it's way more than that.
Sure.
But I mean, I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying to you? But, you have to understand, it really ain't a lot of fights when you put those years together. You get these, again, when I say bare knuckle boxing, that's exactly what I mean. Bare fist fighting. If you look in the dictionary and look up the definition of bare knuckle fighting, what does it say? It says, no gloves or bandages. Now, there is some different people in this world and groups that put hand wraps on and bandages 2 inches thick. But can I ask you a question, my friend? You're very intelligent. You're a historian yourself in the fight game. Is that really bare knuckle boxing if your hands are wrapped up?
I don't believe so. No, to me, bare knuckle is no hand wraps, bare knuckle. I mean, you don't have gloves on. You're not,
And thank you. And if people are selling it as BKB, wouldn't that be false advertisement?
I would definitely see it that way. Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest about it. Like I said before, how can you play hockey if you don't have ice skates?
Right.
So that's a problem. So when I say bare knuckle boxing, I like people to realize something. We are not affiliated with anybody. BKF, bare knuckle fighting is our organization, and we've been around a long time. We were the first to ever stage a sanctioned pay-per-view bare knuckle event. Never was it done ever in history. We done it August the 5th, 2011, when I won the vacant linear bare knuckle title. And God rest his soul, the great Bert Sugar called me on the phone, and he said, you realize this is the linear championship of John L. Sullivan? I said, how do you figure that, sir? What a lovely man he was, Eric. I love Scott. Wow. Yeah, he was a great person, Bert Sugar. And he said to me, well, because it's the first sanctioned fight. And then I'm going to tell you something. This is really amazing here. That fight was promoted as the first sanctioned fight in 123 years. But Scott Burt, who is the ultimate historian of bare knuckle fighting, knows the prestigious Bare Knuckle Box Hall of Fame, the Barnes in Belfast, New York, he told me something that's kind of mind-blowing. He says, that wasn't the first fight in 123 years. And automatically, I said, oh, boy. I said, was it somebody else? And he went, that's the only one in history. John L. Sullivan's fights weren't sanctioned when he fought Jake Carlin.
Wow.
They were illegal. And it blew my mind. So to think about that, we done that in history. And again, it's an old saying, first come, first serve. You can't deny the truth, right? We were the first to do it. And until somebody can prove us wrong, it doesn't exist. And what we've done, my pal, is that a lot of hurdles and jumps. We work with multiple Native American reservations. We got a big one right now, closed deal on. We got actually 2 states in America to just pass the okay for professional bare knuckle boxing. This sport is going to go to another level. And you mark my words, I'm not saying UFC, but I was talking to one of my team members, Joe Curcio, today, a very intelligent man who's on my team, very good friends with Scott Bird. The man is a genius. And he told me that this sport, he says, is going to be the 3rd powerhouse to boxing and MMA.
Wow. Now, the one that was on an Indian reservation, correct? The one, and it was against Shannon Rich. Was that the first sanctioned?
That one was Richard Stewart. That was the first sanctioned one. Yeah, me and Shannon Rich haven't yet fought yet. We're working that out right now. Shannon's a class act and a good bare knuckle fighter. And you know, I want to say something about that. I see a lot of people say, oh, he lost. He has the most MMA fights in history, and they'll talk about, oh, he lost so many fights. But you know something? But I find out, I love MMA, but you can't go by an MMA fighter's record.
No.
Those guys have a lot of that. That's just their sport. You don't judge a fighter on his record, and if you do, you're a fool. In boxing, me personally, I'd rather fight a guy that's 10-0, a young buck, than that guy from Philadelphia that's 5-5. That guy's the real story. Right. And records mean nothing, and that's the problem with boxing today. People do not understand with the fight game. You never underestimate a fighter. Now, you give respect to a fighter, but you treat fighters the way they are. Now, you know what I'm saying? There's amateur fighters and there's professional fighters. And in the professional ranks, when anybody has over 10 or 12 fights, you have to give that man the fullest respect because he's capable of winning the fight any time. What separates a champion from a journeyman is a hairline.
Yeah.
And that's a fact.
Absolutely it is. Absolutely. Let me touch on this because, and obviously, you know, how come a fight between you and Kimbo Slice never materialized?
Actually, my friend, Icy Mike, his manager, was a gentleman. And I want to tell you something. I know you see a lot of things on the internet with me and Kimbo, the hype, but Kimbo was a gentleman, and I really liked him. And we were very close to having that fight materialize. I mean, to be honest with you, we were down to the wire. And it would have been a super fight for bare knuckle boxing. I believe it would have put the fight on the map.
Absolutely.
And I, you know, Kimbo Slice was honored into the Bare Knuckle Boxing Hall of Fame this year, God rest his soul, rightfully, because the man was an underground legend. And I remember hearing about him you know, to be honest with you, I tried to fight him when I was younger in Bare Knuckle, and we couldn't make the fight happen. I tried to make it happen years ago, and we couldn't make it happen, but he was a gentleman, and he's in the Hall of Fame with the legends of the past to the legends of the future, and may he rest in paradise for eternity.
Absolutely. I was so shocked when I heard that news, man. I was like, wow. I mean, he was a young guy. Young
man. Oh, my God. I mean, horrible. And his beautiful wee kids and his wee girl, oh, she was God love her. She come to the Hall of Fame, and she stood for her daddy and took his, rightfully, the William Muldoon trophy, William Muldoon. He trained John O'Sullivan for Jay Curley, the famous, one of the greatest wrestlers ever lived, William Muldoon. And she stood there and took that honor from him. And it was actually heartbreaking. I really actually cried at the Hall of Fame.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, he was such a charismatic guy, you know, and I think that's why that fight would have definitely put everything on the map. I mean, you know, you've been around the block in this game. He had been around the block in this game, and it's like, you know, it would have just been something to see for sure.
You see, 2 years ago, exactly, and that's what I'm looking for right now in my life. I want to see. Here's the story. Nobody really cares if Bobby Gunn fights a tough guy, but nobody knows him. Nobody cares. I gotta fight top names,
right? Because
my name's out there. I mean, there's Rolling Stone that's been following me. You know about that? They've been following me. That video that they put up. Staten Motor, the senior editor, who's a gentleman, a class act, got multiple interviews with him. I'm working with him right now and doing an autobiography of my life story. And he has stated to me that video has the most views of any video for Rolling Stone so far this year, close to 600 views.
I thought that video is just surreal. If you don't know, if you've never seen anything like this before, I would suggest that you go out and you go to YouTube and watch that video. It shows you, this is the one where you're walking in and it looks like a warehouse you're in, almost like where there's tires around and everything. And you're walking in and you're like, what's going on? And you see all these people gathered around, man. And next thing you know, man, I see you like stretching out and everything. I see the other guy getting ready. And you guys start fighting, and you're just like, this is like surreal. I'm like, this is seriously happening? You know, I mean, these guys are actually fighting. It looks like a backyard fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was it. And that's how it is. It's towed to the line, and a referee for that was Danny Favazano. He's top guy, American boxing, and he put he refereed it, and I hit that guy left with the body. That's what shut him down. A lot of people don't understand. It was a short body punch.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Short left hook in the head. And the guy that, listen, he was a class act. He come to fight. And you see, here's the story. There's so many people out there that make bare knuckle boxing not what it should be. This is a gentleman's sport.
Right.
This is not a bunch of thugs, a bunch of fat barroom brawlers with bellies on them hanging out. This is not announcers screaming on the microphone, effing and seeing, cursing like it's a stripper's hangout.
Right.
That's garbage. I mean, and that's what's out there. That's not professional, organized bare knuckle boxing. We have it where we're not under the radar. We're above the ground. We have it where we're going to be. You know, we have rules now. BKF we had to modernize the rules because remember the old days, and not the old days, even when I fought, there was no time limit in these fights. You go on for an hour or two. Well, you have to make time limit for pay-per-view. You understand? We had to make rounds. So it all had to be modernized to accommodate with the public today, the pay-per-view, just so that they get, accustomed with everybody in the world. So we have rules and everything. It's a whole different, the fighters wear special gear, look like MMA shorts, but they're not. And it's towed to the line. 2 fighters step up. There's 2 referees. There's judges and doctors and ringside physics. And to be honest with you, my friend, never has there ever in history been a recorded death in bare knuckle boxing. People understand that. Every year, boxers and MMA fighters die. And that's true. That's a fact.
Yeah.
All you get more superficial cuts and bruises. You might hurt your hands. That's why in bare knuckle boxing, it's more of a chess player, I say, compared to boxing. My hands are open. They're naked. I pick my shots. I go to the body more. I don't hit them in the skull. I don't want to break my hand. I don't hit them in the teeth. I don't want to cut my hand. You pick your shots. It's an art. It's a gentleman's sport, and it's back.
Wow. So this is the one thing, because I'm really like, when it comes to stuff like this, so I'm just very ignorant to it. So nobody, not just anybody, can go to these fights. Is this a case where you have to know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody to get in, or because I imagine it's fairly closed off at times.
A friend of my cousin, a cousin of my friend, and his friend who knew somebody else. Okay,
right.
That's kind of like what it is. And it's somewhat like a cult, but it's a good clientele, and you have good people on board, and people that want to come and support the fighters and hang out and see the fights. And to be honest with you, I said earlier, I told you about the attendance. And at these events, there's never no fights, no arguments. Everybody gets along just fine. And there is always, believe it or not, paramedics outside.
Is that right?
Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you something, too. For the last 10 years, every fighter I fought, we made sure they had a medical, they were tested for everything, just like professional boxing.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying to you? Yeah. So you have to protect yourself, too. You don't want to hit somebody in the mouth. You don't know them, maybe catch something off them. So you have to do it the right way, and it's a sport. And people, to be honest with you, all my life I'm in boxing. I boxed some of the best fighters in the world. And I fought, and to be honest with you, I had an honor to fight the best fighters in the world. And everything I went through, and you know yourself, I've been involved with some of the most crazy, controversial fights in boxing. I mean, insane. And, you know, I mean, so this is the story where I'm at. All these years, it originally started with Roy Jones Jr. in 2006 when I had the Cruiserweight title. We get a call. He's looking. We reach out to where he lived in Florida. And one thing led to another. He ended up just sticking with the light heavyweight title or something. That fight fell through. Then again, we come close to fighting with a press conference. And whenever I can't get into the deal with it, there's a legal problem. Never worked out. Anyway, now this is the third's a charm. And somebody asked me a few days ago, was it worth it? And I say yes. Because God has a reason for everything in life. Many times I've been down and out, a fight fell through, depressed. And people say on paper, oh, you're 3 years active. Not really. I've had 10 bare knuckle fights in 3 years.
Right.
How am I active? Still a fight. And they don't understand that Bobby Gunn is coming to fight Roy Jones Jr. is a Bobby Gunn that should have been, and I wish that God would have been here many times. Roy Jones Jr. has rejuvenated me and put me to another level like a madman. And I am coming to make this a great fight. And I love Roy. He's a great person. I truly do love him. And I pray to the good Lord no man gets hurt in this fight. And I'll hug him and kiss him, win, lose, or draw, because he's a gunslinger and he's coming to fight too. But I promise you, it'll be a fight. It's going to set the critics straight. They're going to walk away and say, wow, them old guys put on a show better than these young bucks.
You know, and speaking of the critics, because there's been a lot of people looking forward to this fight. I know I'm one of them. Like I said, when this fight was announced, I just went crazy. I said, this is going to be a good fight. This is a great fight, man. And there's been a lot of people that have just been very critical of the fight. And
you know what it is? You know what it is, too, here's the critics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Critics are like an arsehole. Everybody's got one.
That's right.
Talk is cheap. Talk is cheap.
Absolutely.
That's exactly the price of talk. Zero. It costs nothing. 90% of these critics never had a punch in the mouth in their life.
Never.
They never achieved anything farther than going on, creating a Facebook page and posting a Photoshop photo. Their life is meaningless, living in a basement, pounding up people that made something of their life. This is how you look at it. Those guys are always going to be there. They are bottom feeders.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They mean nothing. You make things happen. You are a man that does things. You are a historian. You have an art desire for this. You want to get these stories out to the boxing world.
Sure.
You are a person that done something in your life, and very successful too, what I've heard. You are a man, a proper man. A critic, if it's a man, he's not a proper man. If it's a woman, it's not a proper woman. It's the lowest form of humanity to sit and pass opinion about people that have done things and are trying to go out and get it. God forgive them and shame on them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And let me tell everybody this too. And for those of you who don't know your professional boxing, you have a record of, 21 wins, 18 losses. You have 6 losses, 1 draw. Some of your opponents here,
21 wins, 6 losses, 1 draw, 1 no contest, 18 knockouts.
1 no contest. Okay, that's what I missed. Enzo Macronelli, you fought him. Thomas Adamek,
yep.
You fought him. James Toney, you fought him. Glenn Johnson, you fought him. Roy Jones Jr., you're going to fight him in February. I mean, these aren't chumps. These are good. These are solid world-class fights. These are the real deal.
You know something, my pal? If you could put me back, let's say, like rewind, put me back into the 1950s, it would be like saying fought Jake LaMotta, Sugar Ray Robinson,
Absolutely.
Marcel Trudan, Randy Turpin. These are the guys that I fought in my era. And when I fought Thomas Adamek, I fought him for the Ring Magazine Cruiserweight title, the ultimate holy grail of boxing championships. And all the respect, I'm not making excuses up. Watch the fight. There's no reason to stop that fight. No knockdowns, no cuts. It was really stupid. And I'm not going to say that, but I love Thomas Adanak. I love Enzo Maccarelli. He's good mates of mine. But I fought Enzo. They shouldn't stop a fight. A little cut in my nose. Let me go out. You're going to knock me out. Knock me out as a proper man's man. Put me out of my shield as a warrior. Let me go out. Don't rip that from me. And to be honest with you, if I lost to Glenn Johnson decision, my heart wasn't in it because Roy Jones Jr. pulled out of the fight, 10 days prior to the fight. Mm-hmm. And he come in a whole different style. To be honest with you, I just wasn't in it. I wasn't there. But my mind, for 10 years, going on 11, I've been rumored to fight Roy Jones Jr. Oh. And it's finally coming. And it's coming to a head, I believe, where destiny is happening for a reason. And I do believe, as sure as that sun rises tomorrow, my name is Bobby Gunn, yeah? I believe I'm going to beat Roy Jones Jr. So I believe that.
Let me ask you
100%.
this. Do you, given the fact that Roy Jones he's definitely not the fighter he was, of course, in his prime, no question, but he's still a quick fighter. He's still going to move. He's still going to give you problems defensively. Do you have to knock him out to win this fight, or do you think you can win a decision?
You've got to fight your ass off every second. Let me explain something to you real quick. Roy Jones Jr., them losses that he had, people understand this. His mind wasn't right, and I know that for a fact. I'm telling you today, I'm speaking for Roy Jones Jr., and that's how good I know the fight game. That man's been off a lot of fights, his mind. He underestimated a few guys, and he got caught. Anybody can get caught in the fight game. The problem is with Roy. When Roy is right, he's probably the greatest fighter that ever lived, pound for pound.
Without question.
You can't say about a fighter's age. So there's the old mongoose, Archie Moore, 50 years old, 46, 40, fighting for world titles. Fighter's age means nothing. Shit in this day and age. Mm-hmm. There's Bernard Hopkins going on 51 years old, is he?
Yeah, how about
Think about this. Roy, when I look at Roy Jones Jr., please don't think I'm looking at any losses. Roy Jones Jr. said at that press conference, this man I'm fighting, Bobby Gunn. Did you see the press conference? Did you hear what he said?
I have not got a chance to watch it yet, no.
He said, this man's a killer.
Wow.
He says, I know exactly what I'm in for. When I heard them words, I said, this man, he's going to train his ass off. Okay? Roy Jones Jr. is a gunslinger like me. And he's coming. And a man like him, if he shows up to Roy Jones Jr., then what I'm thinking he's going to be a monster for me. Quite a mountain to climb. But I ain't prepared to climb her by, and I'm going to climb her good.
Wow. Let me ask you just one last question, and I know it's something everybody wants to know, and I saw it on your Twitter and everything like that, and I saw him giving you he was wishing you luck in your fights and everything like that. What's your relationship, and how did it materialize? What's your relationship with Tyson Fury?
Tyson Fury is he's a proper gypsy traveler man like myself. See, I'm a gypsy traveler. All my people were gypsy travelers, and unfortunately, a lot of our people get a bad name. You can't name an entire race a bad name because of a few bad apples. Would you agree with me?
I would.
Every race has bad people. You can't run down the white people, the African Americans, if there's a few bad people. You can't. It's not right to do that. People have unfortunately do that about my race of people. But Tyson Fury is a good friend of mine. I talk to him, probably once a week, every 2 weeks on the phone. And he's coming to my fight with Roy Jones Jr. He'll be there ringside.
Oh, wow.
And he's coming. They're actually going to be coming to do the commentating for the pay-per-view. And Tyson, he's another fighter that, unfortunately, the main problem with Tyson Fury is, and I want to explain this to everybody out in the world, you don't understand this. You can't call an African-American, which I got great African-American friends, some of my best pals in the world, great mates of mine. You can't call them that evil N-word.
Right.
Right? Now, I'm saying it because I am a gypsy. When you call white people the name pikey, that is the worstest racial insult you can call us. That man won the heavyweight championship of the world. And on his Twitter, you pikey bastard, you pikey bum, I wish you would die. They never stopped. He went to a restaurant with him and his little wife to eat food and his family, and the man came out and said, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. We don't serve pikeys here. You understand the heavyweight champion of the world being told that? When he won the heavyweight championship of the world, the Queen of England and none of them, okay, none of the British royals acknowledged that boy. Wouldn't mention his name. They wouldn't want to put him in the front newspaper. Now I want to explain something to you. That he beat Welder McCliskell for the Unified Ring Magazine Heavyweight Championship of the world. I want you to think of something here. He fights for them titles. He wins the title on a Saturday. The IBF strips him on a Tuesday.
Ridiculous. That was
Come
ridiculous.
on, my brother. He paid a sanctioning fee for that. Why would he pay the sanctioning fee if they was going to strip him? He didn't. That wasn't an agreement. They were out to sabotage him and take his title because he's freely outspoken. He speaks his mind, his beliefs, each their own. Whenever you believe in, you're rightfully choosing to believe that. Would you agree? Yes or no?
Absolutely.
He speaks, he tells the way it is. Fair play to him, and they should give him more respect because that man is going through a lot, and I believe he'll come back great again, and he'll win his titles. I'm going to tell you something, too. His cousin, Huey Fury, is going to be fighting for the heavyweight championship of the world, I believe, this very soon, and that boy is a force to be reckoned with. Remember that name, Huey Fury? He'll be a world champion, too. And his father, Peter Fury, who trains him in Tyson, is probably one of the best trainers in boxing. I mean, wow. This man's a genius as a fight trainer. So you're going to see great things with the Furies. Don't write them off. They're coming back big time.
Awesome. And there's rumors that Huey Fury and Deontay Wilder may hook up sometime next year, too. So, yeah, I can't wait, man. There's got to be a lot of good fights next year.
That boy is 22 years old, and he'll be world champion at 22 years old.
Wow.
That's my prediction.
Wow. So, all right, so let me ask you, is there anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
I would like to say this here. I want to thank Dave Feldman, Big Joe Mack, Pete Simpson, all the guys that work in the scene. I want to thank my cousin Big Ned Stewart, his boy Henry Stewart. I want to thank Danny Pro. I want to thank Scott Burt, the man I call the Holy Grail of bare knuckle boxing, the most prestigious. That man is the ultimate backbone behind bare knuckle boxing. Joe Curcio, a team member, we love him, and his lovely wife Judy Burt, the queen of bare knuckle boxing. See, there's always your better half, right?
That's right.
She is so unbelievable. That lady is super. And I want to thank my son Bobby Gunn Jr. And I want to thank my wife Rose and my little girl Charlene. And most important, I want to give my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for my blessings, my brother, because I couldn't get up every morning without my Lord and Savior directing my life. I had it hard, my friend. I come from nothing. And to be where I am today, everybody, only a few really push for me. There's so many smiling, two-faced bastards to your face. You understand?
Absolutely.
And there's so many evil haters behind your back. And I know the score. I read them like the Sunday morning newspaper. And I want to say, thank you, Lord, for my blessings. I'm here, hard work, and perseverance through the Lord above. That's where I'm at today.
Very good. Very good. I also want to plug something for you here. If you go to www.officialbobbygunn.com, and that's Gunn with two N's, they got the Roy Jones press conference on there, so you can check it out. Just click the news button, and they got the full Roy Jones press conference up there. You can follow Bobby Gunn on Twitter, @RealBobbyGunn. And also, too, just so you know, Bobby Gunn versus Roy Jones Jr., February 17th at the Chase Center in Wilmington, Delaware. You got to check this fight out. If you live anywhere near there, get tickets. I'm telling you, man, this is a solid fight. This will be good.
And I want to say something here, too. Everybody out there, Bobby Gunn, bare knuckle heavyweight champion world, the former cruiserweight champion world. Check out this show. These guys are the best at this game. Thank you, my friend. God bless you.
Thank you so much. And thanks for joining us, and make sure to tune in Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the RingsideReporter.com and catch our live show. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. Check us out on the web at www.ringsidereporter.com, on Twitter @Ringside73, and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Ringside73. Subscribe to us on iTunes.